Welcome to week 6 of my 26-week marathon training block where I'm trying to get sub-3 hours for the first time at Yorkshire Marathon in October. This week I'm on holiday in Cornwall, but that doesn't mean the training stops because sub-3 takes a lot of training. So what I wanted to do this week, rather than just a normal training vlog, I wanted to use each run to give you the 6 best things I've learned about running from 15 years of being a runner. Feels like I've suddenly turned on boss mode, to be honest, because as soon as we got here, we've gone into a nice heat wave and everywhere seems to be very hilly to run. So it's really taken its toll. It doesn't help that I had basically a bottle of wine last night. I can definitely feel that this morning. So today I wanted to talk about goals. I'm not talking about short-term goals, you know, like your next race or a race time. Obviously they're important because they keep your motivation going in the short term, but I'm talking more about your long-term goals. 1 year, 3 years, 5 years. And these goals should be pretty scary. They should be quite out of reach. So for example, a Sub-3 marathon has been a goal I've been working towards for 2 or 3 years. And I'm finally getting close to it this year. Or I've got an even longer term goal of doing all the marathon majors. That might take me 5 years or so. And I've got another goal that might be 3 years where I want to get a good for age marathon time so that I can run London without having to go in a ballot. But I know that all these are going to take me quite a lot of time. The reason for having them is when you've got the short-term goals, sometimes you won't achieve them, and it can be because you just weren't feeling it on the day. It could be the weather wasn't quite right. And rather than feeling disappointed that you missed your goal, you haven't made it, you know that you're working long-term towards that massive goal. So even though you didn't reach it, you're a lot closer than you were 12, 16 weeks ago. So that's my first tip. Tomorrow I've got an interval or a tempo session, can't remember which, and I'll give you my second thing that I've learned. Tuesday morning, 10:30, it's already 28 degrees. Whew. Now I would have gone running an hour and a half, 2 hours earlier when it's cooler, but unfortunately the dog's not feeling very well, upset stomach, had to drive half an hour each way to go and pick up some stomach medication for her, so that put that right out the window. Add to that, like, my legs, especially my quads, are feeling absolutely cooked right now from all these hills. Saying all that, we've still got a workout to do. Today it's rolling 400s. So it's, after my warm-up, 400 metres at 4 minutes a kilometre, then 400 metres at 4:45 a kilometre with no rests, 8 times in this heat. So I'm thinking I might slow the paces down slightly, but we'll see how we feel. Even just talking to you now, my slow pace is a lot harder. And then after that, I'll talk to you about my next big learning. Oh my God, that was really hard. I actually had to stop on that last, second to last 4:45 because I thought I was going to overheat. Right now it feels like my camera's about to explode, to be honest. You know, it comes with the territory. I was keeping pretty steady until then. Okay, so today I wanted to talk to you about a concept I called You Are What You Eat. It follows on from yesterday's lesson about motivation, that the more I surround myself with something, the more motivated I feel about it. So for me, that's YouTube videos and podcasts. I have a few channels that I follow religiously, and that keeps me going. Even if they're faster than me, they're slower than me, it doesn't matter. Just seeing someone put their effort into something. So for you, that could be social media, it could be Instagram, it could be TikTok. Whatever it is, it doesn't really matter. Just surround yourself with lots of anything that you love, to be honest. It doesn't have to be running, and you find yourself just more motivated to do it. This morning you find me walking up this absolutely diabolical hill to the start point. So this is what I've been doing every day, and by the time I get to the top, my heart rate is already in like zone 3. So yesterday I missed my strength session after my run because my legs were just completely done. That actually brings me nicely on to today's point of consistency beats hard work in the long run. So what I mean by that is, if I'd have done that strength session yesterday, it would probably have completely killed my legs and put me back a bit so I couldn't go as hard tomorrow in my session. So you can go all out, you can try and run every run really fast, but in the end, you're not gonna get where you want to be going. You better take it slowly. Think about months instead of days, and just build up gradually over time. That way you're going to save yourself injury, you're going to build up a much stronger, more resilient base. So even if you're just doing 2 runs a week, 3 runs a week, 4 runs a week, you're better to just stay consistent with those runs over a longer period of time than trying to go all out and get burnt out and have to start again from the beginning. So today, it's got an 11k easy run to get done with these hills, and then it's a hardcore interval session tomorrow morning. I have never been so happy for it to be cloudy. It is a lot cooler today, which is lovely. A bit more windy though, which might prove a bit tough for today's session. Got some intervals, got some drop sets, so 1k at 3:55, 800 at 3:50, 600 at 3:40, 400 at 3:35, and 200 at 3:30.
Hiya, Future Dave here. What I didn't realise until about halfway into the second rep is actually 2 reps per set. So this workout was going to be a lot harder than I was expecting. Anyway, back to the poor, naive, slightly younger me.
So it's going to be a tough one. As we're doing some speed, brings me on nicely to the next point I wanted to cover, which is you're probably running too fast. I certainly was. So while I talk to you about running slower, you can watch me try and run faster. This is kind of brought on by talking to my wife's sister's fiance, because he wants to try and get a sub 28 minute 5k. And all he's been doing is every time he goes out, he just tries to run his 5k a bit faster. So I've been telling him about, nope, slow it down and add in some speed work. And I only learnt this myself a couple of years ago. Before that, I was just doing every run, not hard and uncomfortable, but not slow enough. And what that meant is every time I tried to add speed in, I'd get an injury. And the reason for the slow runs is that you want to give your body a chance to recover properly. And running slower still gets your aerobic base building, gets your legs moving, but it doesn't tax your body as much, and that allows you to do the faster work and the longer work, which then builds your overall speed. While you're probably still running too fast, I recently did a VO2 max session, and before that I was using my heart rate zones, heart rate reserve, which is your max heart rate minus your resting heart rate, and then it's 50, 60, 70, 80, 90% of that remaining heart rate. So my zone 2 was about 140 to 150, I can't remember exactly. After doing my VO2 max test, it actually turned out that my zone 2 is about 128 to 137, which meant I had to run slower to keep in that heart rate. But what it means now is if I do go up to my old heart rate zones, I feel it a lot more. It's not as conversational. I can feel my heart rate picking up a lot more, which shows I was going too fast. So if you don't want to use heart rate zones and things like that, really think about keeping it conversational. Can you have a conversation in full sentences without getting out of breath? It just feels like you're walking and talking, really. If you can't, slow it down. Well, that's the hardest run I've done in a very, very long time. I don't think I hit any of the paces, because after all these hills, my legs they just don't have the speed in them, and the wind was quite strong, so there's a lot more effort. My heart rate was really high, probably from not sleeping quite as well as I would in my own bed and having a few beers last night. But I got a rest day tomorrow, and then parkrun on Saturday, and then next week's actually a deload week, so hopefully that will allow me to recover and I can start week 8 really strong. I love a holiday, but it is good to be home. And I'm back at Leybourne Lakes for parkrun. Just got a quick 5k to do beforehand, so 10k easy today. So my legs are absolutely done, but at least there's no hills. Today's thing that I've learnt, something quite new actually, a bit of a twofer as well. So the first part is know your nutrition. Are you eating enough food to actually fuel your training? It wasn't until I did a VO2 max test and a resting metabolic rate test a couple of months ago that actually found out I got a very high metabolism and I was massively under fueling my runs, which probably why I wasn't recovering properly, not getting the best out of myself. So if you don't know what your body is burning, it's probably worth just doing that test, finding out. what your body actually needs. It's actually maybe a 3-part actually. The second part is knowing what you're eating. I track everything just because that's the type of person I am, to be honest. You know, I make sure I've got about 140 grams to 160 grams of carbs, 60 to 70 grams of fat, and then the rest is all made up by part 3, carbs. Carbs are your best friend, especially when you're running and running on distances, because carbs fuel your body, and it's not even just the fuel that you need on the run, but they also fuel your repair as well and your recovery, because if you're not eating enough carbs, then your body starts using the protein to actually turn into fuel source rather than using the protein to help recover and repair your muscles. So that's today. Know your nutrition, and carbs are your best friend. Make sure you're eating enough. Make sure you're fueling your body. It's been a very long week, but I'm very glad it's Sunday. Long run day. I'm joined by Michelle, you might be able to see in the background. It's got a little half marathon long run. I've actually only got about 4k left, which is lovely. It's been my highest mileage week since before I was in hospital. So 74k in total. And that brings me on to my last learning. And it's you can do a lot more than you believe you can. If you'd have told me 10 months ago when I was first getting out of bed in hospital using the Zimmer frame that I'd be running 74k weeks, I would not have believed you. And I also find this at races as well. You get in your head, I think I might be able to do that time. If you don't think about it and you just go for it, then you can actually smash your goals out the park. There's a saying that you can do 10 to 20% more than what your brain thinks you're capable of. Your brain's always going to try and hold you back and stop you because it thinks that you're putting it in a dangerous position, but you're not really. You're just pushing your limits. So next time your brain is telling you to stop or slow down, remember that. Tell it to shut up and just carry on anyway, and you'll be surprised of what you're actually capable of. So it's been a 74k week, and I'm really glad to have a deload week next week where I take it down to about 45k. That means I'm probably just going to have a week off of the channel, to be honest. Have a little break, and then when I come back, I'm going to be trying to pace my friend Sophie to a PB at the Southend Half Marathon. I'll see you then.